Social issues computers have created. First is communication breakdown. A communication breakdown is defined as a failure to exchange information, resulting in a lack of communication. A communication breakdown happens every time a communicator miscommunicates what they are really trying to say, and or the hearer misunderstands and misinterprets what has been communicated. It is important to remember all sides of a communication breakdown, those who communicated and those who were communicated to. Socializing within a family unit has always been important, as it strengthens the bonds between us and ensures cohesion within the group. But with more and more households owning several computers and numerous portable devices granting access to information and entertainment, some argue that this is leading to a lack of family communication. If each member is engrossed in their laptop, smartphone, or tablet each evening, even communal things like watching television are compromised. Meanwhile, you can see whole families who are out to dinner and still staring into a touchscreen rather than talking to one another. And if you're the one driving to that family dinner and texting while driving, you are a distracted driver, increasing your risk of crashing and potentially causing death and injury. Increase your digital well-being by allowing technology to improve your life and not to become a distraction to your life and others. Your life and others are more important than technology. How to prevent communication breakdown? Number 1 is spend less time on computers unless it's important. Spending too much time on computer can ruin our social life, including picking up bad habits from internet that can alter our communication skills, can ruin not only our mental health but also our physical health. Second is have clarity of thought before speaking out. Before you try to get your point across to others, you should be very clear yourself on the message you are helping to communicate. Arranging your thoughts before verbalizing them will help you communicate much more clearly and efficiently. You're much more likely to be effective by staying on point, which will make your listeners much less likely to be left bored or confused by what you say. Next is learn to listen. As simple as it sounds, you'll be surprised just how many people really don't know how to listen properly. Failing to understand the people you are trying to communicate with will lead to conversation fraught with misunderstandings. Next, take care of your body language and tone. Often, when people think of improving their communication skills, they tend to focus on verbal communication, which is of course a good thing to do. But non-verbal communication such as your tone of voice and body language is equally important. In fact, in many people's estimation, is more important. Next, build up your confidence by asking for feedback and observing others. If a lack of confidence is causing a personal communication barrier, then you may need to reconsider using different tactics to improve your skills, so you can start to feel more confident. Focus on improving your skills by practicing on your own, then in front of people who you feel comfortable with, like family and close friends. Next, defamation of character. Defamation of character occurs when someone makes a false statement against you, which they publish or state as fact, causing harm to your personal and professional reputation and other damages such as emotional distress and financial loss. It's also described hurting someone's reputation or character by making fraudulent statements regarding to the person. The only means of getting in touch with major corporations or famous people in the public eye prior to the advent of digital communication was via a stiffly written letter. This was, of course, accessible only to the intended recipient, thus a very private way for the disgruntled to vent their spleen. But first, messages, birds, and now social media services like Facebook and Twitter are being used to defame people and businesses in an intrinsically public manner. This has led to arrests, lawsuits, and the threat of placing stricter controls over what can and cannot be posted to such services. It has also caused heartache and woe for many individuals, helping to perpetuate a massive international rumor which pays little heed to facts or the threat of legal action. How to prevent defamation of character? First is know what constitutes defamation. Just as its name suggests, defamation is when you defame another person through harmful statements about another person that you know or should know are false. Slander, when such statements are spoken, and libel, when they are written are forms of defamation. For example, tweeting that your boss is a sexual harassment nightmare when no such claims have been verified would be considered libelous. But tweeting that you just want a judgment against your boss for sexual harassment, if true, is safe. Second is stick to facts. Avoid opinions that could be constructed as facts. Everyone is entitled to their opinions, but it's critical to distinguish between opinion and fact. If you believe a politician lied about their campaign finances, or for example, but it's not been proven, it's best to precede any verbal or written statements about that belief with the words "in my opinion." It's better yet to keep potentially defamatory thoughts to yourself. Third is avoid name calling. Even if you think the latest celebrity mistress is a homewrecker, name calling can constitute character assassination. They may believe their paramour truly was separated at the time of the affair, in which case the home was already wrecked and your statement is false. Next is let readers reach their own conclusions. It's likely that when faced with the same facts you encountered, many of your social media connections will view situations much the same way you do, without you exposing yourself to defamation claims. And the last one is don't retweet or link to someone else's potential defamatory material. Someone else may originate a rumor, but that doesn't stop it from being untrue. Regardless of where a defamatory statement originated, anyone who repeats it is just liable as the initial source. Next, identity theft. Identity theft is a broad term that applies anytime someone steals your personal information, such as your social security number, and uses it to create a new account, make a purchase, or commit other fraud. Due to the nature of technology and the internet, your personal information is always at risk. Identity theft occurs when someone steals your personal information, such as your social security number, bank account number, and credit card information. Identity theft can be committed in many different ways. Some identity thieves sift through trash bins looking for bank account and credit card statements. Fraud is another spurious activity that has been able to evolve in the wake of easily accessible computers and the internet. Perhaps most problematic and prevalent of the various fraudulent activities is identity theft, in which personal details of innocent people are harvested by a third party so that they can be used for malicious purposes. This includes carrying out illicit online transactions and other damaging activities that can have serious ramifications. How to prevent identity theft? First is, be defensive with sensitive information. Don't put sensitive information in email, social media, or text messages. These methods may not be secure. Be careful about what you post on social media. You may be inadvertently sharing more information than you wanted to, or sharing it to a larger audience than you expected. Next, create strong passwords and keep them secret. Strong passwords are long phrases or sentences that mix capital and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Ideally, your password should be at least 14 characters long. Don't use the same password everywhere. If it's stolen, all the information the password protects and all the accounts it's used on is at risk. Don't share your passwords. Next, protect your accounts and credit. Stay on top of existing account balances by checking account activity regularly. Report discrepancies quickly. The law protects you from having to pay for fraudulent transactions on your account, but only if you report them promptly. The last one is, boost your computer security. Reduce your security of identity theft by keeping all software, including your web browser, current with automatic updating. Install legitimate antivirus and anti-spyware software. Windows comes with Microsoft Defender antivirus already installed and turned on. Never turn off your firewall. Protect your wireless router with the password and use flash drive cautiously. Next, cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is bullying with the use of digital technologies. It can take place on social media, messaging platforms, gaming platforms, and mobile phones. It is repeated behavior aimed at scaring, angering, or shaming those who are targeted. Examples include spreading lies about or posting embarrassing photos or videos of someone on social media, sending hurtful, abusive, or threatening messages, images, or videos via messaging platforms, impersonating someone and sending mean messages to others on their behalf or through fake accounts. As with the defamation of public figures, the internet and computers have also made it easier for spiteful people to attack people they know personally as well as perfect strangers via the anonymous platforms that are available to them. This has led to a serious incidents of cyberbullying involving both children and adults, sometimes with tragic consequences. The problem with these techniques is that they tend to go under the radar to an even greater degree than traditional bullying, which makes it harder to detect and correct. How to prevent cyberbullying? Protect account and devices. When it comes to preventing cyberbullying and similar behaviors like catfishing, it's important that your child use passwords on everything. Passwords are one of the most effective ways to protect accounts and devices. Emphasize that your child should never share their password with anyone, including their best friend, even though they may trust that friend implicitly. The reality is that friends come and go, and there is no guarantee they are going to be friends forever. Next, use private tools and settings. No matter what your teen does online, make sure they are aware of the privacy settings and tools offered by the organization. Almost every social media platform, including Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok, have privacy settings. Go through each account with your child and help them set their privacy settings to the most secure settings. This means making accounts private, preventing people from tagging them, requiring other people to get permission before sharing one of their photos, and so on. Keep personal stuff private. Kids should never share their address, cell phone number, or email address online. They should be careful about sharing too much information about where they go to school, especially if they have friends or followers online that they don't know very well. Next, managing location sharing. Some smartphones allow users to share their location with friends. This means that if they share their location with people, these people will always know where they are. Have a discussion with your child about who they can share their location with or if they can share it all. Last one is, teach them to think before posting. Help your twins and teens get in the habit of taking some time before posting. For instance, they could create a post offline and then come back to it in an hour and decide if they still want to post it. Doing so will keep them from posting things that they may later regret. Cyberbullies may take what your child posts and use it against them in some way. So it might be helpful to encourage your child to take time to think before posting. Of course, if someone wants to use something against them, it won't necessarily matter what the content is. Next is gaming addiction. Video game addiction, also called internet gaming disorder, is a condition characterized by severely reduced control over gaming habits, resulting in negative consequences in many aspects of our life, including self-care, relationships, schools, and work. Moreover, video games affect the brain in some way as addictive drugs. They trigger the release of dopamine and a chemical which reinforce behavior. For this reason, playing video games can be an addictive stimulus. Whilst computer and the internet have made it easier for gambling addicts to get their fix, a new type of addiction has also arisen in the form of addiction to video games. This is something that can impact people of all ages and leads inevitably to a number of problems, from the social media to the financial. Professionals are beginning to take gaming addiction seriously and combat in the same way as other diseases. How to prevent gaming addiction? First, accept that you have an addiction. This is the first step that you need to make. There are numerous ways in which you can objectively check whether you suffer from video game addiction. One of these are online tests and questionnaires, so don't hesitate to take one. If you get positive results, accept that you have a problem that you need to address and proceed to take steps to remedy it. Next, identify how severe it is. How many hours do you play video games? Do you go out with your friends from time to time? Have you ever called in a sick for work or school just to be able to stay and play video games? Do you do anything else apart from playing video games when you have free time? Answer these questions. Put put the fact on a piece of paper and assess how big your problem is. Next, accept responsibility. One mistake many people with addictions make is to blame others for the wrong ways. It is very easy to put the responsibility on another person, but at the end of the day, you're most likely to make all of the choices in your life yourself. By accepting responsibility, you will accept the fact that only you can stop the addiction and cease to expect it from others. Next, don't nurture a negative mindset. Even if you realize that you have an addiction and that it has a huge impact in your life, stay positive about it. The fact that you came to that realization is one of the hardest parts of battling an addiction. Being honest to oneself takes a lot of courage, so be proud of yourself for managing to do it. Next, adapt your total weekly hours. At the end of the week, each week, add up the total hours you have spent playing video games. You can even use a time tracking app such as Toggle to keep track of how much time exactly you're spending in the virtual world. This will allow you to always be mindful whether you're meeting your time limits or not. And the last one is ask for help from family and friends. If you live with your parents or friends, ask them to help you out. Just talking to someone about a problem and sharing it with others helps by unloading the burden from your back. If you are a teenager, you can ask your parents to help you out with your daily limitations by reminding you about them or even enforcing them when you're not able to do it yourself. And that is the end of our report. Thank you.